Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, scientists say that within 10 years, humans will have conversations with dogs.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I've tried. It's rough. Get it? It's rough.
I said 10 years.
Yeah, rough.
10 years. That was 10 seconds.
I talk to my dog. I talk to Chessie all the time.
There's a Jessie now?
Chessie. C-H-E-S-S-I-E.
Who has replaced Maggie, the long-departed Maggie.
Well, Maggie is departed. So we got another dog. And Chessie, I talked to her. I don't think she's 10 years out. I think it's going to take longer. That's just me. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, baseball trades may be imminent. Lucky Whitehead isn't so lucky. And Mike Tyson says Conor McGregor is going to get killed. But we begin today with Richard Jefferson's hot take on his teammate Kyrie Irving. On his podcast, Jefferson said, quote, I think Kyrie has had a much tougher time in this stretch of the organization than anyone ever wants to fully recognize. He's the number one pick right after LeBron left in 2010. Then he has 3 different coaches. Then LeBron comes back. Now there's trade rumors. Now it's LeBron's leaving. At some point in time, anybody would want some sort of stability, unquote. Wilbon, is that a compelling case for you to side with Kyrie Irving?
The guy who's making the assessment here, Richard Jefferson, if you asked me to list all the people that I've come into contact with in all the sports in North America and have a smart guy list, Richard Jefferson would be right at the top of that list.
Is it a compelling argument for you?
And so when Richard Jefferson makes this observation, he persuades me.
He does. He persuades you.
First of all, I mean, you look at some of this, and it's just smart anyway. But Richard Jefferson's been there for a couple of years, and he's making this observation. And I think that he pulls together lots of elements which make this make sense. It doesn't mean you have to even side with Kyrie. He's just providing some context.
Yeah.
And I think that Jefferson is on the money on this.
Yeah, I hope you don't mind if I have no sympathy whatsoever.
I didn't say I had sympathy.
No, let's
you asked
okay,
me a
let's
question.
look at Kyrie Irving.
If I was persuaded, not
Kyrie
about sympathy.
Irving is the number 1 overall draft pick, during which time without LeBron, his team doesn't do very much. He has statistics, they don't do very much.
They were terrible.
Then he gets LeBron James. Now, you would think that a point guard would love to play with the best basketball player on the planet.
He's not really.
He's got the ball in his hands almost as much as LeBron.
He's not that.
He wins a championship as a result.
Yeah.
He goes to 3 straight finals as a result.
Yeah.
And now you want to make the case that, he's had different coaches.
No. Don't go there. No,
it's so tough to be around LeBron.
Stop.
I'm going to tell you how I believe.
He's not LeBron James as a player.
I'm going to tell you how I believe Kyrie Irving comes off in this whole thing. Right. And I like Kyrie Irving as a spoiled, selfish brat.
But listen, more than one thing can be true. He's had these coaches. He thought he was getting a team. Not that he'd be any damn good at being the star.
He's playing with the best player in the world.
He was 22-60 when he was the star of the team.
Yeah.
But these conditions that Richard Jefferson points out are, in fact, true.
You know what?
Doesn't mean you have to be sympathetic.
No, I don't want to hear from Richard Jefferson about this because I want to hear from Kyrie Irving. Because I want Kyrie Irving to actually say, this is why I've made this decision and why I don't want to play with LeBron James.
Kyrie didn't go to anybody in the media and say, I want out.
It's out there now.
It was reported.
It's out there now. He should come forward, I believe.
Look at you.
He should explain
taking shots at Kyrie.
Yeah, that's right.
And for no reason.
No, for a lot of reasons. Why would you not want to play with LeBron?
No good reason. You don't have to play. You know what? If you don't want to play with LeBron, you know what LeBron's thinking? Hit the road, Jack.
That's right.
So do it. I mean, that doesn't mean these conditions aren't in effect. We are 6 days away from the MLB trading deadline. And not surprisingly, contenders are chasing starting pitching. The guys at the top of the leaderboard are in no particular order: Justin Verlander, Sonny Gray, and Yu Darvish. There's a bit of musical chairs going on here, too, since that's 3 starters and about a half dozen contenders looking to buy, including the Dodgers, your Nationals, my Cubs, Astros, and Mariners.
Yankees,
Tony, if you ran, you're going to put the Yankees in there?
Yeah.
If you ran a contender, say one of these,
yeah,
who among those guys would you rather have?
My heart tells me that it's Verlander because I've watched him for many years, pitch many, many great games. He's 34 years old. He's been a couple of World Series, I believe, but he's never won one. He might have just enough left to get a team
Wasn't he runner-up in the Cy Young last year?
Yes.
Since he's got something left at 34?
Yeah. But my head tells me it's Darvish because at the moment, Darvish has the best ERA of these 3 starters, 3.44. He has the best opposing batting average, only 2.16. And you know what, Mike?
What?
I like the fact that he's a free agent at the end of the season because you're renting him. So if he doesn't work out, you can say goodbye.
Right.
We don't need you anymore.
Right.
If he does work out, you have the inside track to keep him.
You know, Tony, I was looking at the stats for these guys, and they're not much different. I mean, Sonny Gray, who's the youngest of the three, he's got a 240 batting average against. Okay, Darvish is slightly lower,
216 is
Verlander, no, Verlander 225.
I thought Verlander was 250.
They're all maybe, it depends on what time you're talking about. But, Tony, they're all sort of in the same boat, it seems to me. The ERAs are in the 3+ range.
Yeah.
Darvish the lowest at 3.29, Sonny Gray at 3.76. I think depending on your team, you're going to have some improvement no matter which one of these guys you get. But your team, let's say, depending on what happens with your starters, you got two guys now who could be hurt. The Dodgers, of course, have a guy who, Kershaw. I mean, they're going after them.
Here's what
making deals
recommends
for them.
all of these people. These are not prospects. These are veteran major leaguers. For example, Verlander has made 370 starts. He's got 175 wins. Darvish, 121 starts, 52 wins. Gray, 111 starts, 44 wins. They know how to win. They know how to close.
They do.
So you could give me any one of them, and I think I would be happy.
By the way, my stats were over the last 3 years. What were yours for?
This year.
This year.
Which I thought counted more.
I wanted a longer sample size.
Well, you know
what I'm saying?
I'll tell Richard Jefferson that when we have this conversation. Lucky
Whitehead,
Whitehead,
him too.
your boy, is a kick returner.
I never heard of him till today.
He is
you
a
had neither.
kick returner and marginal wide receiver
Very
for the
marginal.
Dallas Cowboys.
Real marginal.
Or he was anyway. Whitehead was cut yesterday when the Cowboys thought he was accused of shoplifting in Virginia because someone claiming to be Lucky Whitehead was charged. But that guy was not Lucky Whitehead. That guy was an imposter stealing Whitehead's identity, which is just what Whitehead and his agent claimed. Well, Von, should the Cowboys reinstate Lucky Whitehead?
The league should force the Cowboys to do it, but the Cowboys look like I can't even go as strong as I want to go. They look like awful people. I'd like to use a string, maybe something hyphenated, but I can't on this here Disney show. So they look awful. Whoever's doing this, the Jones boys at the top, somebody under them, I don't know.
The Jones boys.
Let me just say, whoever's representing the Cowboys organization in this looks awful, like awful human beings. Now, if I'm him, I don't want to go to work for the Cowboys. Other teams are out there. If he's marginal and he both catches some passes and returns some kicks, maybe somebody could use him. Yeah. But how about the league stepping up? You're always talking about a commissioner being living and breathing, saying to the Cowboys, you are not representing us reasonably. We're going to impose something here.
Not only should they reinstate him, which they won't, they should send a limousine for him. Because what they did here is very obvious. They cut this guy so that they don't have to touch Ezekiel Elliott no matter what he did, so they can say, we're tough with our plays, you see, because we cut Lucky Whitehead. Now, there are a couple of things here that are dicey.
Lucky Whitehead.
Last week, I believe Lucky Whitehead was on YouTube or something like YouTube, claiming that his dog had been kidnapped and somebody wanted a $10,000 ransom. That seems sort of squirrely to me. And in this particular case, you need to tell me how the man in question had Lucky Whitehead's real name, Social Security number, and date of birth and stuff like that.
You think the Cowboys think they're on solid ground no matter what? And there's a postscript to this story?
I think there's probably something in the oeuvre of Lucky Whitehead that makes him nervous. But on this if this is all we know, they have to reinstate him. They have to reinstate him.
They don't have to reinstate him. And I would not even want to work for them if I'm as innocent as Lucky Whitehead appears at the moment.
He appears to be at the moment.
If
he does.
You think we both have some doubt about this story?
Let me just say this, that by Friday, I am not going to be surprised
and no matter what comes
if something
out,
else happens.
But the Cowboys at this point, how do they look?
Take them back. They look terrible. They look terrible.
Let's take another look at the Ole Miss football mess that is leaking in the college football training camp. Dan Wetzel of Yahoo. He writes that the NCAA's findings of violations and the Hugh Freeze firing led to such deception that Ole Miss recruits, and there are 46 of them over the last 2 seasons, should be released from their commitments and allowed to go wherever without restrictions. Wetzel argues those kids made those decisions under false pretenses. Tony, you okay with letting these kids out of their commitments?
100% let them out of their commitments. I don't know that I'd allow them to go to an SEC West school, you know, where Mississippi is. But yeah, let them out of their commitments. Because you know what? Because Ole Miss is going to get crushed by the NCAA. There is nothing with Ole Miss that is as bad, as horrific as what happened at Penn State. But there are so many violations here that the NCAA, with a great amount of relish, is going to just crush Ole Miss. It's the
Well,
kind
then
of
they
school
will be
they
able
want
to
to
go.
crush.
Then they will be able to go.
It's the kind of school they want to crush because it's a perennial also-ran, and it got really good really quick. And everybody said, what's going on at Ole Miss? So I think you have to let these kids go.
It is sort of a Barney Fife situation. Can't get the guy going 85, so let's get the guy going 56. That's
Oh,
sort
no.
of
Ole Miss didn't go 56.
These aren't
They went 86.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not going to agree with you on that. But let's go back to the kids for a second. There are 46 of these recruits over the last 2 seasons. 44, and I looked this up, 44 of these kids come from the general region. Okay,
Which
they're
means
coming,
you think
they know
they're
what's
coming with
up.
their hands out,
no,
right?
No, not necessarily.
What?
But they know what's up.
Well,
their daddies and mamas know what's up.
Right.
Their cousins know what's up. Their high school coaches certainly know what's up. They know the chatter. They know what is going on in Mississippi. So to paint them as innocent is probably not the way to go.
But if you get the kind of ban that Penn State got, where 2 years, nothing, zero, and
I know,
you
but I
can't
can't
do that.
equate it with Penn
Can't do
State.
it.
I
You know
can't
what
do
I
that.
find interesting about this whole thing? It is being reported that Les Miles wants that job. That Les Miles, who was fired, and I think we both think oddly and maybe unfairly at
Yes.
LSU,
Yeah.
that Les
Unfairly.
Miles wants
Yeah.
that job. I would give him that job.
That's a pretty good, maybe could be a pretty good fit.
Well,
Certainly,
if he does
talking
with
about
Ole Miss,
recruiting,
what Bill O'Brien did at Penn State, and then, Well, about our favorite boxer, Mr. Mike Tyson,
boys
has
and
weighed
girls.
in on the upcoming Conor McGregor-Floyd Mayweather boxing match. Tyson told Barstool Sports that he doesn't think McGregor, or McConnor, as Tyson often
How
calls
great
him,
is that?
has much of a chance. Tyson
Great.
said, quote, McGregor is going to get killed boxing. He put his dumb ass in a position where he's going to get knocked out. He can't kick and grab and stuff. He's not going to stand much of a chance, unquote. Wilbon, how much stock do you put in Mike Tyson's analysis?
Now, you took shots unnecessarily at Richard Jefferson's intellect, and there's a great
I love
amount
Mike
of it.
Tyson.
You're not going to take any of Mike Tyson's
I am
when it
not.
comes to boxing, are you?
I am not.
No, you're not. Neither
I didn't
will
take shots at Richard Jefferson's
Yeah, you did.
intellect.
Yeah, you did.
I said I wanted to hear from Kyrie Irving.
We both agree about Mike Tyson's ability to analyze boxing.
Absolutely.
On the front end.
That's right.
Not on the afterward end, on the front end. Mike Tyson knows what's up going on. We have been lucky enough not just to see him fight, but listen to him talk about boxing
Yes.
leading up to all kinds
Yes.
of matches over decades.
Yes.
And Mike Tyson knows exactly what he's talking about. And McConnor, how great is
Great.
that?
It's great.
That's a better name than McGregor. So from now on, he's McConnor. If I'm stealing that from Mike, and I agree with every word Mike uttered.
So I'm going to take the outlier position here, not because I believe in it, because I believe Mayweather will win. But if you noticed when they showed the two of them together, it surprised me. McGregor was bigger. I mean, he was I felt
what?
noticeably bigger. So here, just this.
Ernie Terrell was bigger
Okay.
than Muhammad Ali, too.
So he
what?
runs across the ring,
Yeah.
and he acts like a berserker, and he throws swing after swing after swing after swing, and Mayweather's used to boxers. He's not used to something like that. Now, I
Mayweather's
think he
had guys
weathers it.
confront him like that.
So you don't think there's any chance?
I know it's boxing, and I every part of me says you've seen enough of these crazy matches to know that weird things happen.
Yeah.
But Floyd Mayweather,
He's
he's
pro.
got so much at stake here.
Yeah.
In terms of his reputation and his legacy, the most overused word in sports. I just can't. Floyd
gonna
Mayweather
watch
can't
this?
take this guy for granted. Am I going to watch
You're gonna
it?
watch, right?
I can't wait for it. I told you.
So you're going to buy it for your house?
Yes, you
'Cause
wanna
I'll
come
go to-
over?
Yeah, I'll go to
You
your
come on,
house.
come right on
Let's take a break. But coming up, although it's very late for me, is Jose Altuve the best player in baseball? Is he? Come on.
I'll have some pole dancing before the fight. Would I keep you awake?
How great is that?
Which former
my
teammate is in the better spot? D Rose or Jimmy Buckets? Toss up is next. Some pole dancing, some tacos. How about that?
Both.
How
I like
about
both.
that? Okay. I figured I'd keep you awake.
You're going to. It's time for toss-up. Wilbon won't win, but
What?
it is so inspiring to watch him try. What's
Please,
first?
I don't have to
Toss
try.
up more overlooked, the Astros in general or Jose Altuve in specific?
The Astros are 66-33. They're plus 178, and they're overlooked to the degree that everyone still thinks they're in the National League and that Nolan Ryan is
do.
still their best pitcher. So I'm going to answer Jose Altuve, who is overlooked quite literally because he's 5'6". Here are stats that are amazing. We're 25 days into July. He's batting .507 in July.
Yeah.
.507.
He's great.
On the road all season, he's batting .433. It's amazing.
It's amazing, and he's not even the best player on his team, and I'm going to say he's not even one of the three best players on his team. Because everybody
Correa,
will tell you that Correa's a
Springer.
better player. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. He's still going to come back with 20 home runs, 67 runs batted in, and 320. Springer, 27, 66,
Who's
and
your third
310.
guy? Who's your third guy?
Gonzalez, 18 home runs, 59
Oh, so
runs
not
batted
Keuchel.
in, 318. Reddick. We're not even down to guys
Reddick.
like Bregman and Beltran.
J.J. Reddick went there with free agency?
No, Josh. There's one J.
Next.
Josh, the
Next.
team is the answer.
Next.
Toss up, who will lead the majors in home runs? Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton?
The answer is Stanton. He tied Judge last night at 32. Both will hit more home runs.
Doesn't Judge look like LeVar Ball in that picture?
He's a big
That's sort
kid.
of scary.
You know what's interesting about Stanton? He's a massive home run hitter. He's
Yeah.
never hit 40 in a
No,
year
he
because he gets hurt.
hasn't. He
gets
gets
hurt
a lot
all
of
the
games.
time. He's got 11 so far in July. They're both going to go over 40, I believe, but rookies don't go that far, so I'm going to say Stanton.
Yeah, I'm going to say Stanton, too. I just think that Stanton, I know he's been injured. It just seems like, okay, maybe this is a breakout season even for him instead of just a break your something season. And I know a couple times he's gotten hurt late where you thought he's going to make it this time. He's gotten hurt late in the season.
How would you feel
I
if
think
the
it would be
Yankees tried
Stanton.
to acquire him and put him in the lineup with Judge?
I won't like it, but I'm not a Yankee guy, so I won't
because
like it.
they can absorb. That's a massive contract.
They can absorb anything. It
yeah,
doesn't
they
make
can
any
absorb that.
difference.
Wouldn't that be fun?
And I said under
Wouldn't
on
that be
50.
fun?
I think you said over at the time on 50 home runs for the Rook.
No,
I think you said
I
over.
said under. No, because Mark McGuire's got the. No, I said he wouldn't get McGuire's record. Next.
Toss up, who's in the better spot? Derrick Rose or Jimmy Butler?
You better get this right.
Well,
This is simple.
this depends on what that means. I mean, Jimmy Butler long-term is in the better spot because Minnesota will be the natural rival to Golden State at some point, and his next contract is going to be enormous. But right now, I believe Derrick Rose is in the better spot because he's next to LeBron. I think if you stay close to LeBron, you go to the finals. You do this every year. And when LeBron leaves to go to the Lakers, Derrick Rose leaves with him and goes to the Lakers. So I think it's Derrick Rose.
Suppose Kyrie Irving patches it up with LeBron and he's standing next to LeBron. Then how close can Derrick Rose get?
Well, he's a little taller than Kyrie, so he could
You
look
just
over his
edge him
shoulder.
out?
Yeah.
I mean,
just
come on.
push
You're
him.
wrong. Jimmy Butler's in a better spot. Because they're going to make the playoffs this year. They may win as many regular season games as Cleveland this year, and neither one of them can beat Golden State. So Jimmy Butler right now is in a better spot. Congratulations to D. Rose, but Jimmy Butler's in a better spot.
Last one, toss up, more likely to win the PGA, Jordan Spieth or Rory McIlroy?
Temptation is to say Spieth because it would give him the career Grand Slam 1 month into being
No
24
temptation
years
here.
old. And his holes 13 through 18 on the back nine on Sunday were the greatest holes I have ever seen. But the answer is Rory McIlroy because Rory McIlroy has already won twice at Quail Hollow. He has the course record. It's 61. Yeah. He shot 61 on that course, and the only time Spieth played that tournament, he was tied for 32nd. So the answer is actually McIlroy.
I think it's also McIlroy for other reasons. I mean, he looked dreadful a couple of months ago, and he's starting to come on a little bit. Looked good for most of the British Open.
Well, except for Thursday on the front.
He couldn't even
Thursday
make
on the front.
cuts 2 months
Plus
ago.
6.
I think it's McIlroy. Look, McIlroy's also one win from a career Grand Slam.
Yeah, but
and he ain't gotten it in years.
But he's got to
so
get
McIlroy may go years.
It's the Masters. Like it doesn't. He's already won the PGA, right? He's won the PGA.
He
I think.
has.
Let's ask our research team.
He's
That's
won
it.
the PGA.
Let's take one last break, but still to come. I want to talk about Katie Ledecky and what she did today in Budapest.
That would be crush people because that's all Katie Ledecky does. And would RG3 be a good fit for the Chargers? What are we asking about RG3 again? I mean, seriously.
RG3 is to football what Carmelo Anthony is to this show
But
in
he's also
basketball.
what Tim Tebow is to sports in general. All we do is talk about where he might be a good fit.
Can't have this.
No, we
It has
can't.
Happy time, people. Happy 82nd birthday, John Robinson. The great glory in his coaching career was in Los Angeles. He shared a national championship at USC in 1978, and he coached the Rams for 9 seasons, making the playoffs 6 times. After all that, he helped out as a defensive coordinator at San Marcos High School, a little north of San Diego, a total football lifer.
Eric Dickerson, playing under John Robinson, had 2 1,800-yard seasons and a 2,000. You like that? That's called knowing your personnel, coaching your guys.
Happy anniversary, Aroldis Chapman. On this day last year, the Yankees traded the flame-throwing closer to the Cubs for prospects. Well, there was certainly some World Series drama involved with Chapman and manager Joe Madden. He picked up a ring, and he was back in New York less than 5 months later. But Chapman has really struggled this year. Very high ERA, 3.58. And there are some who think that Madden burned him out last year.
I'm going to have my whole life to recall Chapman in the center of the greatest drama of that team ever. the rain delay, the inning that almost got away or did get away.
Happy trails to the old record for women's swimming world championships. Katie Ledecky won her 12th world championship race today in Budapest, breaking Missy Franklin's record of 11. When Katie Ledecky is done, she will have more Olympic gold medals than any swimmer in history, including Michael Phelps. And she's going to be on my podcast in August, so sign up now.
You know how far behind the next young woman was in that race?
3 laps.
19 seconds.
It's just I mean,
19 seconds.
She's
She
racing
kills
against
the
the
competition.
Clock. She's just
They're
racing
not
against
close.
the
They
clock.
really aren't.
No errors today. You're going to listen to the podcast? You come in.
Yes.
You can be a part of the
Absolutely.
podcast if you want.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the
Love
big
Katie
finish.
Ledecky. Let's do it, kids.
A new study in the Journal of American Medicine says 110 of 111 former NFL players had signs of CTE. Your thoughts?
Those aren't esoteric numbers. Those are grim numbers that people have to really take seriously. RG3 is working out for the Chargers today. Is that a good fit?
He was so great as a rookie in Washington. The injury seems to have taken everything out of him. He just doesn't look like a football player right now. The Broncos gave John Elway a new 5-year deal. Is that deserving?
Absolutely. If they wanted to give him an 8-year deal, it's John Elway. I mean, they've been buzzing around the Super Bowl. That's what you want from that team in that city and that franchise. Michael Vick is working as a coaching intern with the Chiefs. Bright future?
I wouldn't have thought that. He's one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. He seems a studious man right now.
Yeah, he does.
So maybe
Good
it
for
is.
him.
Last one, Madison Bumgarner tries to get his first win of the season tonight at home against the Pirates. Do you like his chances?
No. The Pirates are playing well, and the Giants are 0-6 in games started by Mad Bum.
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. And I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app. You've got the app, don't you?
I do.
Or Apple Podcasts.
Mitch Albom tonight at 6th and I. Shout out, 7 o'clock. You going?
Selling books?
I'm going.